What's up, guys? The Phoenix patch finally went live. It went live while I was streaming. So I went over a little bit on stream of how Phoenix is going to be played now and the main differences that you're going to see with your just standard playstyle with Phoenix. That being said, I am live right now at twitch.tv/xtr_val, and we are doing VOD reviews on stream right now. So feel free to stop by after this if you want. But this is mainly just me talking about the changes to Phoenix's playstyle and his kit, and a little bit of how the Regen shield will impact his playstyle. Enjoy. Okay, so the patch is now live, and with the patch, we have access to Flash being on signature and Molly being off of signature. What this means for you as a Phoenix player is you no longer have access to multiple mollies in a round, which is a pretty big deal. The flashes, now you can have upwards of 4 to 5 flashes per round, which is rarely ever going to happen, but when it does, it'll be pretty cool. The Regen shield is also in the game now, which is awesome. There's a lot of other minor buffs and nerfs to a lot of characters. I'll have the patch notes in the description below. But aside from that, let's talk about how Phoenix's playstyle is actually going to be impacted with these changes, because there are a lot of changes that are going to happen with this patch, or that have already happened. I played a few games with Phoenix. He seems a bit stronger in certain areas, but a lot of the times I have noticed that I find myself really missing just having a molly every single round. Usually I would end up buying a flash with the molly pretty much every single round just so I had one flash. So I might just end up doing that with molly as well. But there were a lot of instances where I'd already used my molly to do something aggressively, and I really just wish I had that molly for something else later in the round after getting a couple kills rather than the molly or the flash. So there's a lot of options that get opened up now. Things like this, where you can wall through the wall and then throw like a molly line up here and then flash out, kind of like this. So there's a lot more you can do to kind of combine his util to actually be efficient when you're trying to hit a site. Or retake. Retaking with Phoenix is a lot easier now that you have access to these kind of things, and so is taking site. So something basic you could do with Phoenix Wall now, or instead of doing something like this, you know, to get you up on site and like maybe flash through this wall here, you can now wall through the wall. This goes away. So you can wall through the wall and curve it like this, so it goes a little bit deeper, gives you a little bit more space to play with. You do have to be aware of this gap. This is a pretty big issue with the Phoenix wall. I've noticed some areas, the length of your wall will get cut off by. So if I throw it through here, it doesn't reach nearly as far, right? So specifically for a site here, a good wall could be something like this. Because then you can wall through this wall and completely cut this peak off, right? Whereas before you'd have to run up and kind of angle it and then throw it like this, aim above it if you wanted this wall here. So now you can just wall through this, and then you don't have to worry about getting peaked from this angle unless somebody swings through your wall. Combine that with the smoke in heaven, right? So a wall here, smoke in heaven. You could even molly back sight like this on your run up. You can land that. You could molly sight like this so they can't actually swing you. You can clear this and then flash around while your wall is still active. So there's a lot of things you can do when you're entering with Phoenix now, and I think that's a great change. I think it's a change that probably should have been in the game like forever ago, but it's here now, so I'm not going to complain. You can also now do things like ticking the bomb. Let's say the bomb is planted here and you're for some reason over here, right? You can now wall through this so the wall actually hits the spike, and you can use your wall as more of a damaging piece of util since you don't have to peek for it, right? This could actually be very, very strong if you play it right. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at ways to use your wall. Now that your flash recharges, you'll always start with one flash, which is very nice because you can just spend it a lot more. You can actually get a lot more aggressive using your flashes, which is going to be super, super nice. In tandem with the Regen shield, this kind of makes Phoenix into just somebody who uses all his util to give him a path in. So something like this. Gives himself a path in. And then just flashes. Gets a kill or two. Flashes again. Gets a kill. Has another flash and can continue on, or can fall back to sight like this. Play off your flashes again. Right? So that's kind of what a round would look like with Phoenix now. Whereas before it would be you want to kind of use your flashes a bit sparingly so you have one. So like I personally will dump my flashes pretty fast. If I need to use 2 flashes in like 3 or 4 seconds, I'll do that, right? But now you can use 2 or 3 flashes and then get another flash back, and then you now have one for like the post plant or for a retake or something, if you've secured those couple kills. Just know that you're going to be taking a lot of chip damage when you're flash fighting with Phoenix, and that can make your round kind of bad because you won't have access to this extra heal. So you're going to have to really pay attention of what you're using your molly for now, and you're going to be a little bit more lenient on where you're using your flashes. That's basically all the change really entails for the most part. But I think just in general, you can be a lot more aggressive with Phoenix, and I think that's a good thing. Phoenix struggled a lot with actually getting aggressive and actually taking space as a duelist. That's one of Phoenix's biggest problems because he's not a like mobility duelist. So now with access to all of this stuff, it should become much, much easier for Phoenix to actually accomplish the goals that he's trying to do, such as retaking and creating a path to get in on the retake, or entering and creating a path to get in on the entry. Another good example of something you could do is kind of walling like this to get yourself out here, and then you can flash again through this wall. You'd probably want to angle this one up, and then you can kind of jump onto logs as you go out. So that could be really strong as well. So there's just a lot you can do with the wall now. So there's also the regen shield, which I didn't talk about too much other than the fact that it can make you just a lot more aggressive. But now Phoenix can actually heal while outside of his molly. Let me show this off real quick. So as you can see, I'm gaining health even when the molly is gone. It's like a sage heal now, kind of. So if you need health, you can kind of just throw your molly, touch it, and then run in. This is a very big change. This is a very massive change. And yes, it works with the wall as well. This change specifically is good because a lot of the times with Phoenix, when you would molly, they know where you're at the entire time you're healing, right? So there was a few mind games you could have done with that, such as, you know, mollying for presence and whatnot. But now you can't really molly for presence as well because you can kind of just molly and walk around with it. This is a big change though, just mainly for the fact that, like, let's say you're ringing around the rosying with someone here. You can throw your molly down and continue to heal while you're scaling on the enemy player. So that is going to be a very, very good change for Phoenix. Along with the regen shield too, Phoenix just has access to a lot of options for healing as well. So there's a lot of ways to recover your chip damage. The regen shields, I don't think are going to be something you want every round. Definitely not. But when you're going somewhere like B, you're going to be in that close range where getting one hit headshot isn't really going to make a difference. Whereas if you're playing long range with the regen shield, there will be a big difference. So for actually hitting B and whatnot, I think the regen shield and like just in general on close range sites will be very, very strong. So Phoenix is going to have a lot of access to a lot of different options for healing, and that's really going to shine in areas like close range areas, close range sites and whatnot. So